Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a place where time isn't just a concept, it's etched into every rock, river, and ritual, Arizona. Forget what you think you know, because this isn't just a pretty desert. It's a living, breathing story of how people have thrived in a land defined by scarcity. The very ground here tells a tale, from the towering plateaus in the north, through a rugged central belt, down to the basins and ranges in the south. This landscape dictates life itself. Geologists call it the Colorado Plateau, the transition zone, and the basin and range. Think of it as a magnificent triptych of uplifted mountains, vast deserts, and deep canyons, all channeling water and history in equal measure. The Grand Canyon, for example, isn't just a pretty view. The National Park Service calls it a geologic library, its layers like pages in an ancient book. In Arizona, scarcity didn't stop settlement. It shaped an entire civilization. Now, let's rewind over 1,000 years. Long before modern cities, the people we call Hohokam were master engineers. According to state archaeological records, they built incredible canal irrigation systems along the Salt and Gila rivers. Imagine this. They cut broad, shallow canals with precise, gentle grades, routing seasonal river flows directly to their fields. What were they growing? Maize, cotton, and squash, staples of life, all thanks to their ingenuity. But that's not the only story. Far to the northeast, high on the mesas, the Hopi farmers developed a completely different, yet equally brilliant technique: dry farming. They learned to plant deep into the moist layers of the soil, spacing their crops wide apart, and aligning their entire lives to the delicate rhythms of snowmelt, dew, and the precious summer monsoons. University of Arizona ethnographers have noted for years that these weren't just farming techniques. They were profound social contracts, agreements with an arid climate that allowed their communities to flourish. Fast forward to the 16th and 17th centuries, and Spanish expeditions arrive, bringing with them a whole new layer to Arizona's story. They introduced missions, livestock, wheat, and the acequia tradition, communal canals that were central to their agricultural practices. Mission records and church archives from southern Arizona paint a vivid picture of orchards and wheat fields thriving along the Santa Cruz River. And here's the beautiful part. Indigenous fields continued to flourish right alongside them. What emerged wasn't a replacement of cultures, but a braid, a rich intertwining of indigenous irrigation and dry farming wisdom with Iberian crops, their religious rhythms, and new water customs. It's a testament to adaptation and coexistence. The 19th century brought massive shifts, literally redrawing the map and sovereignty of the land. According to the Library of Congress and the National Archives, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848 transferred vast territories to the United States. And then the Gadsden Purchase in 1853 added what is now southern Arizona. Finally, the Arizona Territory itself was created in 1863. With new borders came new connections. Railroads began crisscrossing the land, carrying not just ore and cattle, but also people, shaping the future of the region. Territorial newspapers and mining company ledgers from this era tell a dramatic story of booms and busts as prospectors chased copper, silver, and gold. But this expansion also intensified conflicts over land and, you guessed it, water. Federal reports from that time document the painful removals of indigenous peoples and the imposition of reservation boundaries, decisions that still profoundly impact communities today. It's a complex and often difficult part of Arizona's history that we must acknowledge. As Arizona grew, early urban centers naturally sprung up where water and transport converged. Phoenix, for example, emerged right in the Salt River Valley, built directly on top of those ancient Hohokam canal alignments. Talk about building on history. Tucson, even older as a Spanish presidio town, anchored its life around the mission lands along the Santa Cruz. But the progressive era, according to Bureau of Reclamation histories, fundamentally reframed water. It was no longer just a natural resource, it became an engineering challenge. The 1902 Reclamation Act was a game changer, creating a federal mandate to store and deliver water across the arid West. This led to monumental projects, like the Roosevelt Dam, completed in 1911 upstream of Phoenix. This incredible feat of engineering impounded winter and spring flows, generated hydropower, and critically, stabilized agriculture in the region. Salt River project records show how this created a linked system of reservoirs and canals, transforming a risky flood and drought cycle into a carefully managed portfolio of water resources. And then, on February 14, 1912, Arizona officially achieved statehood. Census records show a steady, albeit modest growth through the 1920s and 30s, with agriculture and rail commerce as the main economic anchors. But it was World War II that truly put Arizona on the map. The state became a strategic climate, a training ground. Airfields at Luke, Williams, and Davis-Monthan proliferated because the dry air and clear skies were perfect for training pilots and maintaining aircraft. Defense Department archives and local base histories document this incredible wartime surge. After the war, something remarkable happened. Returning service members and retirees recognized a new proposition in Arizona. Not just a place to serve, but a place to live. They discovered the allure of abundant sunlight, wide open spaces, and thanks to increasingly cheap power, reliable air conditioning. The desert was no longer a barrier. It was becoming a lifestyle destination. The U.S. Census Bureau records a dramatic demographic shift in the 1950s and 60s. Metropolitan Phoenix and Tucson absolutely exploded with rapid growth. Interstates began to weave the state into the national logistics network, connecting it like never before. Utility records reveal that air conditioning became standard household equipment, transforming the scorching summer from an obstacle into a comfortable amenity. Simultaneously, the legal framework for the Colorado River was being established, anchored by the pivotal 1922 Colorado River Compact and subsequent acts. This set the stage for one of the most ambitious water projects in history, the Central Arizona Project, authorized by Congress in 1968 and completed in stages through 1993. Bureau of Reclamation project histories describe CAP as a colossal 300-plus-mile aqueduct, lifting water hundreds of meters high to deliver it to central and southern Arizona. In simple terms, imported snow from distant mountains began to supply suburban lawns, city taps, and winter vegetable fields. It's a testament to human ambition and engineering prowess. But underneath all this progress, the 20th century taught Arizona some hard lessons. U.S. Geological Survey reports from mid-century showed alarming groundwater declines and even land subsidence in parts of central Arizona, as pumping outpaced nature's ability to recharge the underground aquifers. Arizona responded with foresight and courage, enacting the groundbreaking 1980 Groundwater Management Act. State water agency summaries explain how this act created active management areas, set strict conservation requirements, and critically, tied all new development to assured long-term water supplies. Law became infrastructure. From that point on, growth in Arizona had to carry its water with it, both on paper and, literally, in the pipe. Yet, none of this erased the older ways of life, the ancient grammars of the land. On the high mesas, Hopi farmers still plant by meticulously reading the clouds, the wind, and the soil, just as their ancestors did. In the borderlands, Acequia communities and mission parishes continue to honor their ancient calendars of water and feast days. And even in bustling Phoenix and Tucson, vibrant neighborhoods and tribal nations live side by side with master-planned lakes, a striking juxtaposition of tradition and modernity. The Arizona State Archives beautifully highlight this layering of history. Photographs show ancient canal banks directly alongside concrete spillways and dry fields stretching beyond luxurious resort lagoons. Arizona offers a profoundly layered answer to one of humanity's oldest questions: how to live where water is rare. It's a continuous, evolving negotiation with the very landscape itself. According to the National Park Service and Tribal Cultural Office's Sacred Landscapes, like the Grand Canyon for the Havasupai Hopi and Navajo peoples, and the stunning canyonlands and buttes across the plateau, anchor identity in a way that transcends any dam or canal. These places are fundamental. The Arizona Office of Tourism tells us that visitors flock here to experience these layers of deep time and vibrant living cultures. And the Census Bureau confirms that newcomers continue to arrive, drawn by the climate, job opportunities, and cost of living. However, the story isn't over. The U.S. Geological Survey and the Bureau of Reclamation now report that reservoirs and snowpacks are fluctuating in ways that are forcing new compromises and adaptations. The making of Arizona, it seems, is an unfinished masterpiece. In the end, this state is a negotiation playing out in plain view. Geology set the syllabus, but generations of people have written different answers, waiting for rain, expertly guiding rivers, importing water, and even banking it underground for the future. Archives and agencies tell the institutional story of this negotiation, but it's the families, the fields, and the timeless ceremonies that tell the truly human one. To truly understand Arizona, you must begin with the land, listen for the whisper of water, and remember that every single layer of its history remains vibrantly present. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Arizona's incredible story. If you enjoyed learning about the rich history and unique relationship with water in the Grand Canyon State, please hit that like button, share this video with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating journeys through history and culture. We'll see you in the next one.